President Trump heads to Georgia tomorrow. He's holding a rally for the Republican Senate candidates there, Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. Kayleigh McEnany is with us this morning. Kayleigh, what should we expect from the rally? I mean, mask wearing, social distancing? What should we expect?
Yes, so we do hand out masks. We encourage attendees to wear them. Most do. And, you know, everyone has the choice whether to come up. We give out hand sanitizer, so those precautions will be in place. But as I've said before, you still have a First Amendment, a right to political speech. Even amid a pandemic, the Constitution matters, and it'll be a great night tomorrow in Georgia. There are some Republicans who are saying, look, the president's presence in Georgia is not helping. What say you? The president's presence in Georgia will be what puts Senators Loeffler and Perdue over the finish line. When you look what happened in this election, everyone expected us to hemorrhage seats. In fact, we won all 27 toss-up seats in the House, stunning Democrats, and are holding on to the Senate. And it's the president that does that. And him being there will be the single reason that I believe both of these senators will prevail. So it'll be a good night, and I believe it's the start of these two senators crossing the finish line. Well,
just quickly, do you think it'll look like the kind of rally that the president was holding before the election?
I do think so. Look, Stuart, I distinctly remember our rally in Rome, Georgia, and I was going to about 6 of these a day by the end, but the crowd was unbelievable. The number of people who showed up, it was extraordinary, and I think you're going to see even more because our base has never been more motivated by the kind of irregularities that we've seen in this election. They want their voice to be heard. It's why they're driving across the country in cars in a MAGA parade, and they will show up in a big way on Saturday night.
I was astonished by this number. President Trump and the RNC have raised $495 million just since mid-October. What's the president and the RNC going to do with money like that?
It's extraordinary. And in fact, since the election, there's a Washington Post article, believe it or not, that talked about how extraordinary this number is, that just since the election, $207.5 million have come in. That's since the election, after it presumably had been called. So that's just a big motivating factor, mostly small donors, and we'll see what the president decides to do with it, but he'll be supporting this party. Hopefully he prevails in litigation, but the Trump movement is continuing in a very big way, and those numbers indicate that.
Well, would you address the question of will the president run in 2024? I know that the standard answer is that the current election has not been decided. I understand that. But is the president leaning towards a run in 2024? Does he feel that he could get into it again and he wants to get into it again? Does he feel enough energy to get into it again?
Oh, I'll leave that specific decision to him, but what I'll say is this, Stuart, is I've talked to him many times. He's continuing as the head of this party. Make no mistake, this party for decades was craving for a fighter like President Trump to come in, challenge the status quo, challenge the establishment, challenge the weak Republicans, the moderate establishment, challenge big tech, challenge the media. This president did that. He has fought for this base, and this base is behind him all the way, and he is not going away. Hopefully he prevails in litigation. But he is the head of this movement, make no mistake, and that will not be changing.
But with all that money, nearly $500 million, and his intention to stay there at the head of the party, he's crowding out younger newcomers. He would be 78 come 2024.
Well, a lot of those newcomers who are rock stars like Senator Hawley, among others, Matt Gaetz, another one, have come out and said, hey, we encourage this president to continue. 2024 looks like a great opportunity for him should litigation not succeed, is what these congressmen have said. And I think it's a big indication when you have congressmen and senators coming out in droves saying this president is leading the way and we stand behind him. It tells you all you need to know about where the Republican Party stands, and it's squarely behind President Trump.
Will you be with the president in Georgia tomorrow?
I will. Very much looking forward to it. We'll be down there, and it'll be a great time. It was one of the best rallies on the campaign trail, was that Rome, Georgia rally, and I expect tomorrow to be just the same.
We really look forward to hearing about it, Kayleigh, and we really thank you. I know how busy you are, and I honestly don't know how you do it, but thank you so much for being on the program today. We appreciate it. We really do.
It's always great to join you.
Sure thing. See you.